And a good evening, everybody. Welcome to Macomb High School here in beautiful Macomb, Illinois, as it is time to kick off some Friday night football here. The season opener here at beautiful, beautiful Macomb, Illinois. Wyatt Reed on the call, and we are looking forward to the first kick here, which is just moments away of the season opener. And I couldn't be happier to be here with you here as we are getting ready for this opening kickoff of the Macomb Bombers, who come in off of an excellent season last season where they were 11-1, 9-0 during the regular season. They're certainly going to have a lot of momentum, but a lot of changes coming to this Macomb Bomber squad.
Absolutely. I tell you what, it's good to be here with you, Wyatt. Good to be back on TSSR radio. And we're getting ready to do the national anthem. But, man, there's a lot of changes. This Bomber staff, this Bomber team has been through so much adversity, which is weird to say since 11-1 season. But you lose your record-setting quarterback. You lose a record-setting wide receiver who was the second option on that team, but a number one on any team in Langdon Allen. You lose your running back. You lose your linebacking core. And then you lose your all-world cornerback and receiver/running back in Jaden Jones, and you leave, JT Jeter is, a man among men on a football field. He's moved out to Utah. So there's a lot of people down on Macomb, and I tell you what, I'm here to see the Bombers really put a lot of those concerns to rest because there are a lot of skill guys on this team. We're going to see a different dynamic. I'm not saying losing Jack Duncan is a benefit in any way. That guy was a thrower, phenomenal quarterback, but we're going to see another dynamic. We're going to see a running quarterback. We're going to see a guy that's going to extend plays, and it's just going to be so exciting with another dynamic. But here comes the national anthem.
That's right. We'll be able to listen to that national anthem right here as getting ready for the first kickoff here in just moments. Awesome job there from the folks of the Macomb Marching Band here as we are ready for the season opener here in Macomb, Illinois, as the Macomb Bombers will be taking on LVC, the Miners, here in just a few moments as we wait for the band to take the field. We're going to take a quick timeout, and we'll be having the kickoff of the first game of the season in just a little bit here on TSSR Game Time Live.
Since 1958, McDonough District Hospital has proudly served.
So McDonough District Hospital was amazing. I have a lot of allergies, complicated by nasal problems. And the procedure I had is Vive Air. Dr. Sparks was incredible.
The Vive Air procedure is a radiofrequency ablation procedure. She no longer has to do any medications to breathe, so she gets much more restful night's sleep. And a short little office procedure, and have somebody that feels like it's totally changed their life means the world.
It's a permanent improvement on the quality of your life.
And welcome back to Macomb High School here in beautiful Macomb, Illinois, as we are ready to go here with the TSSR Game Time Live here. It's brought to you by MDH. Also, big thank you to Arnold Brothers, for sponsoring Macomb Bomber Sports as we're getting ready for the first game of the season. And the beautiful new facilities here. I mean, we're in the press boxes here, which are just absolutely fantastic. And air conditioning, which is definitely a good thing considering the hot conditions that most of the Midwest has been dealing with these last couple of games. And the conditions are certainly going to play a factor on the opening night of the season. One would expect there, Tony.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been blistering hot. It's still hot now. They pushed the game back to 8 o'clock, which is going to help. The heat broke probably about 45 minutes ago. So that's all trending the right direction. But depth is going to play a part. Need to make sure that you're hydrated. We're going to see probably a lot of cramping tonight. I think that probably there's going to be a little less air on the throws. Probably the legs are going to be a little tighter. But I tell you what, You know, we're talking about these beautiful press box facilities, and we should be, and this beautiful turf field, which we should be. But you know what? I can't get over the fact that there's high school kids, a marching band on the field, playing songs on a Friday night, and football is back in small-town Midwest. That's where we are right now.
It feels good to have football back here in the Midwest, and boy, I tell you what, it's going to be an exciting season. And like we said, a very interesting season for Macomb, as we talked about before we went to break there. A lot of changes coming off of that undefeated regular season last year. A lot of kids graduating, and it's going to be interesting to see how the head coach of the Bombers adjusts with his new staff. It's always very difficult, and it's always a lot of fun to check out how they do, especially in that opening game of the season. You want to get off to that good start when you only have 9 games on the season.
Yeah, absolutely. And I tell you what, I had obviously a front row seat there with Mr. Tanner Horrell for 4 years when he was with me, and to see his mind work. And last year, they had a phenomenal season, but I feel like you didn't get to see how great of a coach Tanner is and Dave is on defense and the whole staff, because there were such phenomenal athletes. You put them out there and you let them go and you let them do their thing. This year, I think that you're going to watch Tanner Horrell and Dave Wilson work with the roster that they have. They're going to move parts around. Those throwing angles, I can't wait to see the route trees, because I think they're going to be changed. They're going to be different. I think that on defense, you're going to see change-ups. You're going to see odd and even fronts mixed in. You're going to see coverages. You're going to see walked-up safeties into linebacker spots. They're going to really use their roster and wring every ounce of talent out of this roster, and I can't wait to see how the Bombers look to move forward from the great success of last season.
As the Bombers have taken the field here, the JFL kids actually ran out just before them, and you saw that here on TSSR Live, and the Bombers rocking the all-orange. Orange tops, orange pants, and orange helmets. That's a good look for the opening day right there, Tony.
A little orange crush right there, bringing it out night one.
All right, so then you've got LVC coming in here this season. For those who don't know who LVC is, it's Lewiston, Valley, and Cuba. Second year of that consolidation. Obviously, coming here to Macomb to start off the regular season is certainly a tall order, but what do you expect to see out of LVC coming into this evening?
So you're going to see a strong running attack. You're going to see a lot of big, strong, athletic young men that are going to try to control the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball. That's going to be the hallmark of their team all year, no matter who they're playing against. They want to control those trenches, and they've got big, strong guys to be able to do that. Now, and Macomb, admittedly, that's a question mark up front on both sides of the ball. But where you're going to see some separation is in those skill positions. Can they keep up with guys running down the field? If our running backs get in space, is their linebacker core, are their safeties going to be able to measure up? Those are the things you're going to want to see, and especially with Macomb being able to bring guys after guys after guys at those skill positions to keep them fresh. That's going to be one thing to watch. But that battle in the trenches is going to be interesting.
So we're getting ready for the opening kickoff here from Macomb High School as the Bombers, I didn't see who won the toss, but I do believe it is Macomb who's going to get the ball here first. And getting that ball first, obviously you're in front of your home fans at the season opener. That first drive, you really want to run down the field and score a touchdown on that opening drive. Just get everything off. You've been working through the hot summer. Nothing better than coming out and on the first drive of the season, coming out and scoring a touchdown.
Yeah, and quite honestly, obviously the Bombers lost a ton of seniors, but there's a lot of young men in those orange jerseys that have a bad taste in their mouth from the last time they were on this field, especially losing the lead in that playoff game against Murfreesboro, the way that it disintegrated in the second half, and the way the last few minutes unfolded with a couple of penalties that maybe could have been called, a couple of penalties that we feel shouldn't have been called. Letting a guy break contain on a Statue of Liberty play for the back-breaking touchdown. All those things are fresh in their mind, and they just want to get that right off their bat, right on the opening drive. So
I misspoke earlier. It looks like Macomb is actually set to kick this one off, so it'll be LVC getting the opening kickoff here, and this game is brought to you by McDonough District Hospital. McDonough District Hospital athletic trainers and the MDH Rehabilitation Center, locations in Bushnell and in Macomb. They provide expert help with the Bombers, the student athletes in the prevention, care, and rehabilitation of the athletic injuries. Learn more at mdh.org. As the opening kickoff is returned to about the 35-yard line on the far side of the field, and we're ready to see what the Miners can bring out here on their opening possession of the new season here from Macomb High School.
That was interesting on the kickoff. For 3, 4, 5, 6 years at least, we've been going in. We're trying to pop it over the front line and land it somewhere between the 35 to 25 and on the near side. And this was still popped up, but it went to the far side. So a little different look on the kickoff team from the Bombers.
So starting things off at the 36-yard line is where the Miners will start. 11:55 on the clock here, and they've got that wishbone, the inverted wishbone right behind them. 3 backs. And then you've got the pistol formation right behind their starting quarterback, Jackson Gibney. And the first snap hands it off to his back as he cuts to the right side, looking for the corner at the 35-yard line. Unable to reach that corner, however, as Ethan Shields trying to get back to the line of scrimmage, and he struggles to do so. It'll be 2nd and long here for the Miners.
He's brought down by Jack Beal, and that play was allowed because now the Bombers only go 3 down linemen. But they've walked up their outside linebackers, essentially creating a 5-man front, and they stretched. They didn't get outside of their lane. They just stretched that play out towards the sideline, and Jack Beal's able to come up and make a play.
Gibney ready to go here on the second play of the game. 11:20 to go here in the first quarter as he turns to his left now and hands it off. Good pressure here from the Bombers as they're met in the backfield. The Miners unable to get back to the line of scrimmage, so it'll be 3rd and long at the 32-yard line. Loss of 3 on that play. Excellent play there with 11 minutes to go here in the opening quarter. And now 3rd and long situation here. Not ideal if you're the Miners starting off your season here, looking at a 3rd and long on your opening drive.
That was a nice play by Alex Brown from his defensive end position, knifing through and making a big play.
So now they're spreading things out. 2 wide receivers to the left, 2 wide receivers to the right, and in the pistol formation as Gibney steps back to pass, looking to throw. Pressure comes over the middle of the field, and that one bounces incomplete. Good pressure by the Bombers, forcing a 3 and out, and that's how things start off. 10:36 to go here in the first quarter, and it'll be the Bombers' chance to return it on the punt, which will be upcoming here in just a moment.
And I tell you what, you're right. That pressure caused that play. You got Ian Case coming in and Alex Brown met at the quarterback, and he had to let go of that ball before he wanted to because that tight end was actually right in the seam all alone. He wasn't carried by a linebacker. That was a busted coverage, but the pressure makes him get rid of the ball, and it falls incomplete.
And unable to return that one is Drew Watson. He lets it be down there at the 45-yard line, so that's where the Bombers will take over as we are getting ready for the first possession. Again, rocking the orange crush there are the Macomb Bombers. Those excellent uniforms there, as this game brought to you by Ron LB Auto Sales with locations in Macomb and Augusta. 80 years of car sales experience. Ron LB Auto Sales is your hometown go-to for your next car. In Macomb, East Jackson Street, stop in and talk to Justin, Jared, or Chris, or go to lbsellscars.com. Bombers opening possession, moving to the right side. Their quarterback, pump fakes, gets it to his man, and that is a first down as he's past the 40 to the 35-yard line. Excellent play there. Jack Beal making the catch, and that's a Bombers first down, the first down of the season for the Bombers.
Absolutely. That's Jack Beal. Did a little settle route, a little slop route where he just found some space. He sat in it. And you saw it, Mr. Holthouse roll out, find the room, and deliver that ball on the money. But I got to tell you, first play, nice job by the Bomber O-line.
Holthouse in the shotgun, the pistol formation as he's ready to go again. Hands it off to his back, spins away. Good pressure from the Miners. Able to break a tackle, though. He's inside the 30, down near the 27-yard line. That'll be a gain of 7 there on first down as we're coming up on 10 minutes to go here. And the Bombers already on the outside of the red zone here on their opening drive. 2nd down and 3 upcoming here. Under 10 minutes to go here in the first quarter. 2 wide receivers splitting out to the right. As we are about ready to go here, Holthouse ready to go. Running back in the backfield there with him to his left as the handoff goes. Fakes. He's going to run it to the left side. Big hole. He's inside the 20, inside the 10. He's to the 5. There's a touchdown for the Bombers, but a late flag comes in near the 20-yard line. This one looks like it might be coming back.
I want to see this call because he's already in the end zone when that flag comes out of the pocket.
And it is a block in the back call on the Bombers, and that is going to wipe away the early touchdown. 9:36 to go here in the first quarter. And, man, that is a backbreaker here on the opening drive. Don't like to see those penalties. Those can add up and kill you, especially on the first game of the season.
Boy, I tell you, I'm not saying there wasn't a hold on the play, but he's in the end zone 25 yards downfield when that flag comes out. So that's interesting. Tough call, but I tell you what, the play itself, that's called a GT counter. So the guard and the tackle pulled to the field, and the quarterback's reading that backside defensive end who crashed, and he kept it and went with it, went ahead on that counter and found, 40 yards?
Hands it off to his running back. That is Connor Bishop, who runs it back to the 30-yard line. So that was a 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. The spot foul was at the 19-yard line. Back to the 29-yard line. There was no gain on that play, so you're looking at about a 3rd and 6 at the 30-yard line with 9:14 to go here. 2 wide receivers to the left, 2 wide receivers to the right, as Holthouse with 1 back in the backfield. That is Bishop. As Holthouse changing the play a little bit, getting word from his coaches on the near side of the field. As Holthouse ready to go, standing near the 35-yard line. The ball goes over his head, and Holthouse trying to pick it up, and he's able to get it. He's near midfield, all sorts of trouble. He's going to try to throw. Breaks another tackle at the 40. He's going to throw. He's got a man wide open at the 20, inside the 10.
Look
Touchdown,
for flags.
Bombers.
Look for flags. They are not calling downfield. That's on a scramble play like that. You've got to look for linemen downfield. They didn't see it. So there weren't any.
There were no penalties whatsoever. An unbelievable touchdown. And the Bombers are on the board here with that touchdown. That was about a 45, 50-yard play as that ball got over his head into the end zone. What a play for the Bombers to start off their season.
So that's exactly what we talked about earlier. That play is made possible because Mr. Holthouse is able to extend that play, keep it alive. He picks up the ball, makes a little move, makes the first guy miss. He weaves through he went about 20 yards on his feet, and then he found his receiver drifting away from coverage. And once he caught the ball, he walked into the end zone.
So that is a Tom Conklin State Farm touchdown, as the extra point is no good. And that is going to make it 6-0 here. 8:40 to go here in the first quarter. Bombers lead this thing over the Miners as you're watching TSSR Game Time Live, brought to you by MDH.
At Western Illinois University, leathernecks don't just blend in. Our purple stands out. Our students are innovative, creative, and resilient. At WIU, there's limitless potential, with campuses in Macomb, the Quad Cities, and online. Visit wiu.edu/potential to become a leatherneck and get an education that stands out.
I grew up in a small town in Missouri, and I like the feel of community. I like knowing the people that I take care of and knowing the people around me, providing care for someone that you know is in this community and helping them to get better.
And welcome back. Arnold Brothers Heating and Cooling presents TSSR Game Time Live, brought to you by MDH, as the Bombers leading this thing 6-0 as we are getting ready for the kickoff after the touchdown. A broken play, a wild play that saw the snap go over the head of Holthouse, had him back near his own 45-yard line, but then he was able to run 20 yards or so and make his way into the clear where he was able to get that pass off, and he had a man wide open down the field. A broken play, a wild series to start the opening series of the year for the Bombers.
Yeah, and that's freshman Kyler Norton out there that found him. So he did it. It was a really heady play for a freshman drifting out there, but can you imagine being a freshman on the Friday night lights under there with the crowd out there, and that ball's coming at you, and it's coming up in the air, and there's nobody there. Sometimes those are the hardest catches to make, but puts that ball away and gets himself into the end zone for his first career touchdown. Congratulations, young man.
So the Bombers will be kicking this one off right to left as you look at your screen if you're watching us there on YouTube. Good to have you with us here this evening as the season opener starting a little later here this season, as the Heat pushing the starting kick back to 8 o'clock. But now we are underway, and we've got a good one on our hands as the Miners of LVC going to get the ball back, and they're going to look to answer before they fall down by too much more. As the return near the 30-yard line, he's going to the outside, and a whistle, and they're going to blow this play dead. I don't know what the whistle would be for
what
here.
Is this?
I don't know if he called fair catch, if he might have signaled it. If so, that'd be back to the 30-yard line, but this is a bizarre set here, and it looked like he had some open space on the far side of the field.
Well, it's hard to know because when did those whistles start? Because it looked like there were some orange shirts that were starting to pull up.
So it looks like we are going to try this kick again, and LVC is going to have another chance to return this one. But again, it looked like he had some open space near the 40-yard line, so that could be a bummer all in all for the Miners. But we're about ready to get things back underway here as the kickoff from the 40-yard line right on the propeller of the bomber right there on the right side of the screen here, as we've got 8:35 to go here in the first quarter. So the kickoff after the touchdown, 6-0 Bombers, as that one booted to the near side, and another whistle. And I don't know what is the deal here, and I guess they're saying false start?
Offsides, yeah. These guys are going Big Ian Case. These guys they're passing the line before he gets his foot into the ball.
So is that a 5-yard penalty? Did they push them back? I believe that's the case. So 5-yard penalty pushes that one back. LVC is going to have some good field position here if they can't get this down.
I'll tell you what, that was a nice kick by Ian Case, though.
It was. Got down near the 25-yard line, but got it right near the sideline, the near sideline. But maybe a little first game of the season jitters, shall we say, on the special teams unit here for the Bombers.
I think the timing's a little bit off here. Correct me if I'm wrong, Wyatt. I don't think Ian Case kicked the first ball.
I don't know if he did or not. But, man, it's a little bit of miscommunication, and now we'll see if everybody's on the same page. Everybody's on the same page, and they boot it to the far side of the field, and that one's going to go out of bounds, so some more special teams jitters for the Bombers to start this season off, as that will bring things, again, great field position there. And
now that one they'll take. That's fine. Kicking that out of bounds, it's going to come out to, I believe, the 40. You're trying to pin that ball in between the numbers and the sideline. It's the first night. You got to, especially after 2 penalties. You know what? He kicked the ball well. I think you take that penalty, especially the way the Bomber defense played on that first series.
So the 35-yard line is where the Miners will set up. Actually, up to the 40-yard line. My mistake. We were going back and forth between our producers here in the studio as well. 8:35 still on the clock. 6-0 for the Bombers. They have the lead, and we'll see what the Miners of LVC can do here. And we'll see what Jackson Giboney can do, as he's going to come out here and try to lead his squad. They're down for the first time this season. And again, you don't want to fall down by double figures here early, as the 40-yard line is where they'll set up. 3 backs behind Giboney, as Giboney ready to go, hands it off to his back up the middle, runs to the left side, and unable to get very far. That is Dempsey Whitsett, and he gets only about 1 or 2 on the play. 8:23 to go here in the first.
That wasn't a terrible outcome for LVC. They make the handoff to the fullback. He gets through the front line. He gets a couple of yards. But it's also a nice outcome for the Bombers because it gets past the beef. It gets past those down linemen. But the linebacking core, which is all new across the board, was able to respond quickly and keep that to a 2-yard pickup.
Under 8 minutes to go here in the opening quarter. 3 backs again and behind the quarterback, who is in the pistol, Jackson Giboney. As Giboney ready to go, he takes it and fakes the handoff to one, hands it off to another, runs it up the middle. There's a good gain there, about 2, maybe 3. That's going to get him to about the 44-yard line. So it'll be 3rd down and about 5.5 here. And again, a huge drive here, huge 3rd down for the Miners, who don't want to go down by 2 scores. 7.5 to go here in the opening quarter.
I think what LVC needs to do is they need to stick to their game plan. They can't get overwhelmed. The broken play that athleticism of Macomb is able to pull out. They're seeing these big guys across from them. They can't get away from what they do and try to get fancy. Just keep pumping the ball. Now, on that play, first contact's at the line of scrimmage, but he's able to fall forward for about 3 yards.
1 wide receiver on the right side, 3 backs behind him, fakes the handoff, rolls to the right side, still looking, throws to the right side, just over the head of his intended target. That is number 14. And there's no number 14 on our roster sheet here. As the Miners trying to get that 3rd down conversion. It'll be 4th down and 6, under 7 minutes to go. 6:56, as a matter of fact, to go here in the opening quarter. And it'll be 4th down. The Miners bringing out their punting unit.
This is really nice coverage by Jack Beal. Not only keeping that space, but also when that ball got up, his hands go up to the hands of the receiver and make sure that ball cannot be caught.
So the punt comes from the Miners. That one's blocked, and a great play there. Trying to pick it up as the Bombers. They do at the 30-yard line. Breaks the tackle, and he's going to bring it in for the touchdown. A special teams play for the Bombers. A blocked punt. Return 35 yards for the touchdown.
That is a Tom Coughlin touchdown right there for the Bombers on special teams, and those are the things that are going to happen in a game like this. The athleticism of the Bombers, they're just overwhelming. They come in, there were four Bombers in the backfield. One of them gets their hand on the ball, and actually the scoop and score was missed by the first guy coming through, and the second guy picks it up and is able to lumber into the end zone for the Tom Coughlin touchdown.
And I'm being told that it was the same guy who got the touchdown on the last possession, Kyler Norton, the
Have
freshman.
a night, Kyler Norton.
That is unbelievable. So a touchdown on a broken play and then a blocked punt that he returns for a touchdown. Have a day, freshman Kyler Norton. It is 12-0, 6:48 to go here as the Bombers looking to go for two, it looks like, on this one. Two wide receivers to the left, two to the right. Fakes the man in motion, and a little bit of a false start there, as it looked like the wide receiver, Drew Watson, tried to get a little bit of an early start on the motion there.
I was actually shocked to see them line up to go for one on the first play. Coach Horrell's philosophy has always been, hey, if I make half my 2-point conversions, I'd have to make 100% of my kicks. So he's a 2-point guy. Plus, he loves that strategy of those close quarters, designing those plays. He's really good at it. His percentages have been good. So I really, we used to battle about it a little bit, but I secretly don't tell him, but I love watching him strategize for those 2-point plays.
So two wide receivers on the left side, rolling to the right side, and he's going to try to get to the corner, looking for the pylon, and he makes it in. What a play there by Braden Holthouse. He's in for the 2-point conversion, and the Bombers lead it 14-0 with 6:48 to go here in the opening quarter. We'll take a timeout here as you are watching the Game Time Live here from TSSR, brought to you by MDH.
I chose the MDH OBGYN group because I've heard wonderful things about Dr. Smith. And upon entering the office, I really got along with everybody and got a warm feeling. The staff is warm and inviting and welcoming. It's a small community, so it's a really nice hospital to have here in the rural area. I continue to choose MDH because of the relationships I have. I really enjoy everybody here.
I grew up in a small town in Missouri, and I like the feel of community. I like knowing the people that I take care of and knowing the people around me, providing care for someone that you know is in this community and helping them to get better.
And welcome back as Arnold Brothers Heating and Cooling bring you TSSR Live here on Game Time Live, as we are about ready to get things back underway here. Wyatt Reed and Tony Weston on the call here from Macomb High School as the Macomb Bombers leading this thing 14-0, and two very wild plays for the Bombers. A kind of a bizarre broken play where the ball went over the head of the quarterback, a scramble and a touchdown on that one, and then a blocked punt. Everything's going the Bombers' way here in the opening quarter.
Yeah, we haven't seen the Bombers down in the Diggers College City Bowl red zone yet tonight to see how that short offense goes. But you know what? We haven't needed to because of the way that the ball's bounced here, there, and everywhere, and it's just bouncing into the Bombers' arms so far tonight. And specifically, freshman Kyler Norton, number 40, has been a ball magnet, and he's had 2 huge touchdowns to start his career.
As the kick, a low line drive kick up at the 30-yard line, returned by the Miners, stops at the 35. Nice play to the 40-yard line on the near side of the field.
Guess who makes the tackle?
Excellent play there, though, by the return man. But, yeah, again, a good eye there as the man of the night so far comes in to makes the tackle, That's Carter Sowers on the return, but how about the night there for Kyler Norton, the freshman? 2 touchdowns here in this ball game. And we'll see what the Miners can do here. They've got to be a little bit rattled, one would think, here with the block punt, and then also with the kind of the bizarre broken play. So we'll see what the Miners can do here on this drive. They're starting at the 43-yard line. Excellent field position with 6:42 to go here as we get ready for the first down play. I want to remind you that the chat is open here on our YouTube, TSSR Live. So Get into the chat, like the stream if you like, as the first snap, rolling to the left side, looking to throw, throws it left side. What a play there, but it's dropped by the intended receiver near the 50-yard line. That was an excellent play by the Miners quarterback. That is Jackson Gibney, getting away from pressure, but unable to make the play was his receiver on the far side of the field.
Now, the one thing that the Bombers have to guard against is starting to get a little bit, feeling that energy and feeling that vibe and starting to get too aggressive. So on that play, it looks like our outside linebacker tries to undercut the route, tries to get himself a pick six. That ball goes past him over his head into the receiver's hands. They're not able to connect, but that had all the markings of a big play. If he floats over towards the boundary, he's in great position to either get a pass defense or at least limit the game.
That's Gavin Pace, who's now on the far side of the field. 3 backs behind the quarterback. Fake handoff, runs it up the middle, the quarterback does, and that is going to be about a 1, maybe a 2-yard game for Jackson Gibney. That's going to set things up with another 3rd and long here, and 3rd and long has been the story so far here for the Miners. Ball is set at the 44-yard line, and the Miners looking at a 3rd and 9. Excellent play there defensively. Great run defense so far for the Bombers, who again are dealing with a lot of new linebackers, a lot of new faces on the defensive side. But so far, those new faces have made a big impact here in this ball game.
Well, I'll tell you what, I've seen 3 freshmen so far, just that I'm looking at here. In obviously Kyler Norton, we've talked about a lot, but Drake May's out there at an inside linebacker position. You got Charlie Botterford is our center tonight. So these freshmen are stepping up. They're talented young men. And, obviously we had a wave of seniors go out, and these guys are saying, hey, you know what? If you're not going to step up, I'm going to take that spot.
So penalty flag comes in. Might have been a little movement there by the Miners, and that is indeed the call there. False start on the offense. So 3rd and long just got a little bit longer. We're under 6 minutes to go here in the opening quarter as it's 3rd down and 14 for LVC. And we'll see what Jackson Gibney has up his sleeve. He's got 1 wide receiver to the left, 1 wide receiver on the near side here, as he's got 3 backs right behind him. Here's the snap. Gibney fakes the handoff, rolls to his left, still rolling to his left, looking for a man, trying to get to the corner, throws it. That one's nearly picked off, and a penalty flag near the middle of the field. And we'll see what the call is. I didn't see anything on the near side of the field, but that's where the penalty flag comes from with 5:28 to go here in the opening quarter.
So on that one, we see out the far defensive side, the field defensive end pinches inside. Quarterback rolls out on a naked boot. We do have the presence of mind, even with these young linebackers that are going to flow with the ball. They make it so that he can't get that immediate throw out there. He's got to hold the ball a little longer than he wanted to. By the time he gets the ball off, our defensive backs have got to the receivers. There wasn't anywhere to go with the football. So
ineligible man downfield is the call. It is declined. 4th and 14 at the 39-yard line for the Bombers, for the Miners, attempting to kick the ball to the Bombers here as they move the ball from the far side of the field to the near side, and it looks like we're going to have a timeout on the field, so we'll take a timeout with them. We're back after this as you're watching TSSR Game Time Live, brought to you by MDH.
I chose MDH. We moved here, and I was researching different places that would allow me to VBAC, have a vaginal birth after C-section, and the doctors here do encourage that, and so I chose that after looking online, and I wouldn't want to deliver anywhere else because they all go above and beyond, and they're so kind and actually care about you.
And welcome back as Arnold Brothers Heating and Cooling bring you TSSR Game Time Live, brought to you by MDH. Speaking of Arnold Brothers Heating and Cooling, since 1960, Arnold Brothers Heating and Cooling has been providing the greater Macomb area with expert sales, service, and installation of quality home comfort systems. Call your local carrier dealer today, 309-833-2852, and find out how Arnold Brothers Heating and Cooling, delivers 365 days of indoor comfort. 4th down and 14, ball at the 39-yard line here as the Miners coming out to punt it with 5:28 to go here in the opening quarter here. And boy, it has been all Bombers here in the early going, just what you want to start your home opener with. And we'll see what the special teams unit can do after the block punt for a touchdown, which we saw just moments ago.
I tell you what, this isn't a special teams unit. I love this call. This is just defense, and they dropped the safety. That's all this is.
And that one, a good bounce there by the punter to get that one inside the 40 and inside the 35-yard line. That one's going to be down right at the 30. So 70 yards is what the Bombers are going to need on this possession if they look to get into the end zone for another time here today. Already been in the end zone twice, and both by the freshman. What a day so far here for Kyler Norton, but we'll see what the Bombers have up their sleeve here with 5:17 to go here. Ball at the 30-yard line and a 14-0 score as the Bombers setting up with one wide receiver on the right side of their starting quarterback. And it looks like they're trying to get a little bit of communication in. One wide receiver went to the sideline. He's back into the field of play now as the snap nearly goes over the head again. Good pressure. That one incomplete. That was a broken play all the way. Braden Holthouse had no chance of that one, as a little bit of issue so far here with the center as he snapped it over the head of Holthouse earlier in this game and nearly did it again here in the first quarter.
Well, I'll tell you what, as we mentioned earlier, you got a young team that's lost a lot of veteran leadership, and you got a young guy there not only on the offensive line, but at the most important point, the captain of the offensive line. And kudos to him for earning that job. He's just got to dial in a little bit. I'll tell you this, he's done a phenomenal job in pass pro.
As the play is blown dead, as it looks like the Bombers might have moved a little early on that one, so where this one might be coming back, and a timeout is actually called with 5:12 to go. So another timeout for the Bombers. We'll take a timeout with them. Actually, we'll just do a live read here as the broadcast, brought to you by the Old Dairy, located at 210 South Lafayette Street in Macomb, serving soup, salad, sandwiches, and homemade dessert, Blue Bunny ice cream, and a full-service coffee bar. Oh, that sounds good, doesn't it? Breakfast served all day and free Wi-Fi. Visit them online at olddairymacomb.com. Call 309-837-6700 for your takeout order.
Boy, I tell you, we've got some phenomenal sponsors this year, and a couple of them, the way the game's gone with, a combination of a little sloppy play and some penalties, and then, the crazy bounces. We haven't called a lot of Sports Corner first downs. We haven't, we mentioned we haven't been in the Diggers red zone, but man, that's two places right there within a couple blocks of each other where, you go up there after the game, up to the Sports Corner, get something to eat, and move over and take advantage of the Friday night Rockin' Bowl.
So with 5:12 to go here, it'll be 2nd down and 10 for the Bombers. Two wide receivers on each side of their starting quarterback as we are getting ready to go here. As Holthouse takes the snap, looks to throw, pump fakes, now launches this one deep down the middle of the field. That one is incomplete as that one is dropped by his receiver near the 40-yard line. Excellent throw by Holthouse. Hit him in the hands, the receiver unable to make the play.
I think a little more air under that. I think that it's a nice throw, but a little more air. Put that out ahead of him. That's Drew Watson, if I'm not correct. I can't see the number. But so Drew Watson's out there. Drew Watson's got the speed to run by anyone on this field. So a little more air and put it out in front of him, and I think he's in the end zone. That's just, it's week one. These things, these are the first time that these guys are playing together, and we got to tighten some screws.
So with 5:06 to go here in the first quarter, as Holthouse tries to get him on the fake snap there, as trying to get one of the Miners to jump offside, unable to do so here. So with coming up on 5 minutes to go here, Holthouse rolls on 3rd and long, throws that one to the right side, got a man wide open past the 50, and then he dropped it. So I don't know what the play is going to be called there. It looked like he made it several yards before he dropped it, so they are going to say he did complete the catch, and he fumbled the ball out of bounds inside the 40-yard line. What a bizarre play that was. That might have just been lack of concentration.
Well, I think that he catches the ball in traffic, and he turns to run, and I think it actually hit him on that hip. And so he's trying to run. He's trying to accelerate. He had 5 yards. That initial acceleration, he had 5 yards, and he drops the ball.
So they give him 30 yards at the 37-yard line here, under 5 minutes to go. Two wide receivers, one split on each side. Hands it off to his back, looking to break through a tackle. Unable to do so. Good play there by the Miners. Still a gain of 3, though, for the Bombers. That'll set up a 2nd down and 7 with 4:45 to go here in the opening quarter.
And that was a Sports Corner first down. Connor Bishop lost his hat there, so he's got to come off for a play.
So Holthouse in the shotgun getting ready to go here as Jerron Petty now in the backfield there with him. Kind of a smaller guy, but still a lot of great athletes on the field. 2 wide receivers to the right side, 1 to the left side. As the handoff goes to Petty, up the middle, past the 30. He is inside the 25, inside the 20, and he's going to be shoved out of bounds inside the 10-yard line. That one down at the 9-yard line and into the Diggers red zone here for the first time today are the Bombers.
I tell you what, watching the film of the first contact day, that first Saturday, Jerron Petty is in on inside run, and he is a small guy, but he puts those shoulders down, he runs hard, and he's got burst. When I saw him come onto the field, boy, I wanted to talk about this. And in the game the other night, in the scrimmage, boy, you saw some real burst out of Jerron Petty.
So a Sports Corner first down, and into the red zone for the first time are the Bombers. Hands it off, fakes the handoff. Running to the right side is Holthouse, breaks the tackle inside the 5. He's into the end zone, and that is a touchdown for the Bombers from 9 yards out. 20-0 Bombers here. Still 4 minutes to go here in this first quarter.
Boy, that's a big Tom Conklin touchdown right there for the quarterback. They only spent 1 play in the Diggers College City Bowl red zone, but that's all they needed is that, again, quarterback makes the read, and he goes ahead and counters off of that D-end who's pinching down hard, and he gets in for the touchdown. Great legs on the quarterback, and that's set up by that good hard run by Jerron Petty.
Setting up for 2 are the Bombers, throwing it to the right side. Nice play. Got him wide open near the 5, walks into the end zone, and that is an easy 2-point conversion for the Bombers. 22-0 our score here with 4:02 to go as the Bombers rolling early as you're watching TSSR Game Time Live, brought to you by MDH.
My experience with McDonough District Hospital was amazing. I have a lot of allergies, complicated by nasal problems. And the procedure I had is Vive Air. Dr. Sparks was incredible.
The Vive Air procedure is a radiofrequency ablation procedure. She no longer has to do any medications to breathe, so she gets much more restful night's sleep. And a short little office procedure, and have somebody that feels like it's totally changed their life means the world.
It's a permanent improvement on the quality of your life.
Well, I've always had an interest in the medical field, and then growing up, I actually went through physical therapy myself for an injury, and that got me back to playing my sports and the activities that I loved. So seeing that firsthand, I got to see how much physical therapy could really benefit others.
And welcome back as Arnold Brothers Heating and Cooling brings you TSSR Game Time Live, brought to you by MDH. Wyatt Reed and Tony Weston on the call as the Macomb Bombers are really rolling here in the early going. 22-0 is our score here with 4:02 to go in the opening quarter. And a big thank you to everybody watching us on the old YouTube here this evening. And we invite you guys, to get in on the chat. We've got the chat section wide open for you guys. So if you've got a comment on what you're seeing so far, these Bombers really looking good. So there's a lot to talk about for the Bombers fans out there. So get in on that chat, like the stream. We would love to have you guys in on the conversation and in on the ball game here if you are watching us on YouTube here this evening. 22-0 though is our score, and we'll see if the Bombers can keep the defensive pressure that they've been able to keep up so far here, as it's been 3 very quick possessions for the Miners. The Miners just trying to figure something out on offense. They haven't been able to do so far.
Yeah, I tell you what, it all goes back to those skill guys. I want to see more of that battle in the trenches. I want to see more back and forth on both the offensive line and the defensive line. Those really haven't established quite yet, but you got to be happy with what you've seen out of the skill guys. You've seen a lot of speed. You've seen a lot of burst on both sides of the ball. Seeing the cornerbacks close down and shut plays down. The linebackers have flowed to the ball. Schedule is going to get a little stringier. But I tell you what, for week 1, from that angle, you got to be happy with what you've seen. Now, too many mistakes for sure. 100%, those got to be cleaned up. We've got to work on getting center and quarterback exchange done. But I'm really happy with Braden Holthouse's reads so far. He's really made good, decisive decisions, run hard. He's put the ball on the money for the most part. Got to be happy with those things.
So the Bombers ready to kick this one off here. 4:02 to go here in the opening quarter. Again, a little bit of a later start here this evening from Macomb High School as they pushed it back because of the just the oppressive heat that we had this afternoon, but things have cooled down nicely as the sun has gone down, and it's a beautiful night for football here at Macomb High School at the beautiful facilities here. A lot of renovations been going on over the years as that one is boomed inside the 10, inside the 5, and that one stops at the 2, having to pick it up and bring it out are the Miners, and they're going to have trouble getting that one inside or past the 15-yard line, as that was Gavin Pace picking that one up, and he struggles to get to that 15-yard line. An excellent kick right there for the Bombers.
That is a phenomenal kick, and I tell you what, it's a low-line drive, which could be trouble, except he kicks it right down the middle in between the two return men, and it's been a lot of years since I've seen a Macomb kicker threaten the end zone. I mean, that had touchback written all over it, and it, like you said, it checked up. It's like you hit the old backspin button on the Golden Tee machine, and the coverage team, great coverage, got down there, swallowed it up, and here we are in negative territory.
So with 3:55 to go here, ball at the 15 in that inverted wishbone set. He fakes the handoff, to one back, hands it off up the middle, back to the 15, and maybe to the 16-yard line are the Miners, and they have just had all sorts of trouble trying to get things through, but they're doing what you said, trying to keep that running game going. Can't put your head down when you're only getting 1 or 2 yards. Can't completely abandon the running game this early in the game.
No, you gotta keep what brought you here. And I tell you what, our second year here on this field against Canton, we got down 14 early, and we just kept with our game plan. We ended up coming back and winning that football game. And if we abandon our plan, then, who knows what happens.
And that is going to be Dempsey Whitsett with the handoff, and that one going to get him past the 20-yard line. And that is going to set things up with a 3rd and manageable here as we come up on 3 minutes to go here in the opening quarter. A 3rd down and 4. And Dempsey Whitsett, excellent play there, running it up the middle. Now Jackson Gibney going to look to make a 3rd down play here and get the first down of this ball game for the Miners. So they've got 3 backs behind the starting quarterback, Jackson Gibney. And Gibney takes the snap, fakes the handoff, looks to roll right side, and a penalty flag is going to come in, and a little bit of movement there. So it'll be a false start, and what was 3rd and manageable, now back to a 3rd and long, and more trouble for the Miners here in this first quarter. Another penalty flag comes in. Bombers leading this thing 22-0. And that'll set things up with a 3rd down and 9 now. Ball at the 16-yard line, 2:40 to go here. And other scores going on the TSSR network as we've got Hayworth. They are leading West Hancock at the half, 13-6. West Prairie Southeastern, a 22-0 lead over Galva. That one is in the second quarter. 28-0 now. They just scored as rolling to the left side, pitches it on the option play, bumped out of bounds past the 20-yard line. Excellent play there as Jackson Gibney getting to the corner on the option play and then pitching it to his back. And that'll still be a few yards short of the line to gain, but that'll be 4th down and about 3 now as the ball passed the 20-yard line to about the 22.
I'm looking for them either to go for it or do a fake punt. At this point, you're down 3 touchdowns. I understand it's still the first quarter. Very long first quarter. A lot of stoppages. A lot of stoppages. Oh, he's calling that timeout.
And timeout is indeed the call, so we'll take a timeout with them. 4th down situation for the Miners. We're back after this as you're watching TSSR Game Time Live, brought to you by MDH.
12 minutes.
MTC Communications is building a high-speed fiber network in our community, and we're putting priority on the areas with the greatest interest. That means we need your input to let us know you want us to build fiber in your area first. Experience the speed and convenience of fiber internet by visiting our special website and registering. Let us know you want fiber internet today and make your voice heard.
MDH Sport Medicine Rehab is just not for the athlete. We see a variety of ages, getting them from having pain to no pain to get back to their normal activities and their prior level of function.
Well, I've always had an interest in the medical field, and then growing up, I actually went through physical therapy myself for an injury, and that got me back to playing my sports and the activities that I loved. So seeing that firsthand, I got to see how much.
And welcome back as Arnold Brothers Heating and Cooling bring you TSSR Game Time Live, brought to you by MDH. Fourth down and about 3. And it still they're going to go for it here. 3 wide receivers to the right side, and the quarterback takes it, loses the football, and that one is going to be a turnover. They probably weren't going to get that first down anyway, but a fumble, and the Bombers are going to get the takeaway regardless, and now they're set up inside the Diggers College City Bowl red zone. And, man, all things going right for the Bombers here in the early going.
Well, that's an interesting call. I love the aggressiveness. I love the fact that it's 4th and 4, even though it's deep in your own territory. You're giving it a shot because so far from what we've seen on the punts, it's a difference of 25 yards, maybe 30 if you get into one. But they go trips to the field and they run that counter into the boundary where there's not a lot of room. And as we've talked about, those Bombers can make up a lot of ground in a hurry.
So the ball at the 16-yard line, and that is where Holthouse will take it, hands it off to his back, running left side, breaks the tackle inside the 10, inside the 5, into the end zone. That is another touchdown. Drew Watson basically untouched from 16 yards out, and it's 28-0, still with 1 minute 32 seconds to go here in the first quarter.
Boy, that Tom Conklin touchdown right there is brought to you, that orbit motion, that big arcing motion from Drew Watson. They're going to let that go a lot of times, but right here I feel like they think, well, there's not a lot of time and we got to try our plays. So they go ahead and give that to Drew Watson, and like you said, the line out in front of him did a nice job of just being in space just to create those lanes for him to weave out of. They only spent one play in the DCCB red zone, and they're already in the end zone.
So with 1:32 to go, out to kick the extra point for the Bombers. I believe that's number 16, Jackson Barclay. And the kick, that one, I believe, is going to be no good. It looked like that one might have actually been blocked.
I don't know if that was blocked or if it came out low.
18 on the kick. My apologies there. So that is Olaf Bronas. And that is going to take us to another timeout as you're watching TSSR Game Time Live, brought to you by MDH.
I chose the MDH OBGYN group because I've heard wonderful things about Dr. Smith. And upon entering the office, I really got along with everybody and got a warm feeling. The staff is warm and inviting and welcoming. It's a small community, so it's a really nice hospital to have here in the rural area. I continue to choose MDH because of the relationships I have. I really enjoy everybody here.
And welcome back as Arnold Brothers Heating and Cooling bring you TSSR Game Time Live, brought to you by MDH. It's also brought to you by some of our other great sponsors. That's the reason we're here on YouTube here this evening from Macomb High School. One of those sponsors, Sport Corner at 124. Macomb's original local sports bar is Sports Corner at 124. With a focus on local sports, catch WIU games and all the area TSSR Game Time Live broadcasts at Sports Corner at 124, all while enjoying your favorite cold drink and some of the best food in West Central Illinois. Stop in, come say hi at 124 North Randolph Street in Macomb. Good eating there at the Sports Corner. 28-0 our score, 1:32 to go in the first quarter, and we were talking about this during the break. A 45-minute first quarter, and we still got a little bit more time to go as the kickoff underway, and that one near the 10 checks up at the 7, bringing it back out are the Miners to the 25-yard line, runs out of bounds to about the 27-yard line. That's Gavin Pace once again. And, boy, the leg on that Bomber kicker, what a kick that was. Again, checking up using that backspin you talked about there earlier at the 10-yard line.
Yeah, a little golden tee. He's hitting that backspin button. Yeah, I tell you what I want to see him work on is being able to get some air under that ball. But for right now, just avoid the return man and get it down there as far as you can. He's doing a great job. He's got that inside the 10 twice. You know, I'm nitpicking here when I ask for the air because he's getting the ball down the field.
Wyatt Reed, Tony Weston on the call here this evening. Another game going on the TSSR family of networks as we've got Milledgeville leading River Ridge 48-0. And they're in the third quarter, in that one. So kind of a blowout to start the season. Hands off, the Miners trying to get something on the run game and back to the line of scrimmage, and that is about it. Miners can't find anything right now. 1:15 to go here. It'll be 2nd down and 10 at the 28-yard line.
Well, I think there's some of these numbers you're probably, we'll see how long you see them. But as of right now, for example, you've still got Braden Holdhouse out there on defense, out at the safety position. Luckily, they're not throwing the ball. All the action's, up in the trenches, so he's not doing a whole lot. But actually, he's playing linebacker, isn't he?
That was Bradley Ellis on the carry there. No gain on the play. 2nd down and 10. Ball at the 28-yard line. 45 seconds to go here as the handoff goes to the fullback left side. And still unable to get back to the line of scrimmage. More struggles there as that is Dempsey Whitsett. That's going to be about a 1 or 2 yard loss, so 3rd and long once again, and we've been saying that all night so far. A 3rd and long situation. 30 seconds to go here. We'll see if the Miners can sneak one more play in here before we go to the second quarter. As that ball set up at the 25-yard line, so it'll be 3rd down and 13. Ball at the 25, and it looks like the Miners might be happy to just switch the field around a little bit here and try to talk this one over.
Yeah, I think that's the right play at this point. You're down 4 touchdowns. I say let that clock go.
And that is exactly what they're going to do as time has expired at 28-0 first quarter. The Bombers leading the Miners as we've reached the end of a very long first quarter. We'll have the second quarter as we come back as you're watching TSSR Game Time Live, brought to you by MDH.
There's been a lot of rewarding parts working at McDonough District Hospital. I've had patients come to me that maybe have not had care in the community, care available. So with the addition of nurse practitioners lately, we've been able to add more care, and that's very rewarding to me. My hope is that when the patients leave at the end of an appointment, they leave and they definitely feel like they've been listened to, and they feel like their needs have been met, their cares have been met, and that they're going to get the proper treatment that they deserve from me as a provider.
At Western Illinois University, leathernecks don't just blend in. Our purple stands out. Our students are innovative, creative, and resilient. At WIU, there's limitless potential, with campuses in Macomb, the Quad Cities, and online. Visit wiu.edu/potential to become a leatherneck and get an education that stands out.
And welcome back as Arnold Brothers Heating and Cooling, I should say, bring you Bomber Sports here on TSSR Game Time Live, brought to you by MDH. Wyatt Reed, Tony Weston, as we get ready for the second quarter. 28-0, the start for the Macomb Bombers. They lead the Miners of LVC, and now tough situation here, 3rd and 13 at the 25-yard line. We'll see what LVC can do here on this big play. 3 wide receivers are split out to the right side, 1 on the left side, 1 back behind him as takes the snap, throws it to the right side, has his man, but there are 2 Bombers right there at the 22-yard line. That's going to be another 3-yard loss. What a play there defensively. They were not fooled by the screen whatsoever, and that's going to be another 3 and out for the LVC Miners.
I tell you what, that's a nice play. I understand they're going with a now route. They're going to get the ball in the receiver's hands quick and see if one of their best athletes can make a move and make a play. Unfortunately, as we've talked about, the Bombers just have so many athletes that can get to the ball, it's what happened. Now, I misspoke earlier. Number 8, Connor Bishop, is a returning linebacker. He was in linebacker rotation last year.
So out to punt this one away are the Miners, and that punt is going to check out there at about the 45. Might have gotten to midfield. We'll see where the officials mark this one. They'll mark it at the 48-yard line on the plus side of the field, so that's where the Bombers will take over here on this drive, and things have been all good for them so far. A broken play has worked for a touchdown, a block punt for a touchdown, and then 2 very crisp drives for the Bombers offense. Just very quick drives there as well. 1 or 2 plays, and they've found their way into the end zone. And we're set to go here. 11-13 to go in the second quarter. And we'll see what the Bombers can do here on this drive as they are now going left to right as you look at your screen here. Again, a big thank you to everybody for joining us on the old YouTube here today. Again, get in the comments if you'd like the stream. We'd like to hear from you here on this Friday night. As back out there once again is Holthouse. Holthouse throws it to the right side, has his man, shakes the tackle at the 40, he's to the 30, inside the 20, he's to the 15, to the 10, and there's a touchdown once again for the Bombers. What a play by Ian Case, number 81. He was not going to be denied of his first touchdown of the season, shedding a tackle and rumbling his way into the end zone. Big play there, 48 yards out, and the Bombers have a 34-0 lead.
So that's a nice play design. That's that king formation. They go ahead. They run off the play action to the halfback, running an ISO behind the fullback. Ian Case leaks out and gets himself open. Linebacker's there. Ian Case just absolutely trucks the linebacker, and from there he's wide open into the end zone.
Hands it off, running it to the right side. The Bombers unable to get into the end zone for the 2-point conversion, however, and that is how that drive will come to an end there. 34-0 is our score with 11:02 to go here in this one, as we'll take a quick timeout as you're watching TSSR Game Time Live, brought to you by MDH.
At Western Illinois University, leathernecks don't just blend in. Our purple stands out. Our students are innovative, creative, and resilient. At WIU, there is limitless potential, with campuses in Macomb, the Quad Cities, and online. Visit wiu.edu/potential to become a leatherneck and get an education that stands out.
I see acute injuries on the field. I see ankle sprains. I see ACL knee injuries, as well as in the clinic. It's very rewarding to see them from on-the-field injury to rehab to transition back to their event.
And welcome back as Arnold Brothers Heating and Cooling bring you Bomber Sports here on TSSR Game Time Live, brought to you by MDH. 34-0 is our score, second quarter, 11:02 to go in that second quarter. And a big thank you to our folks out there watching on YouTube here this evening. Joe Bellotti, he's a big Bombers fan, saying pour it on. And also go Kyler, number 40. What a day number 40 has had. Kyler Norton. We'll talk about that here in just a second. And then we got Blake Driscoll in. Coach Driscoll watching here this evening as the kick is underway and the Bombers are going to kick that one right out of bounds once again. So some miscues. If you could say that there's been some issues for the Bombers, I mean, I know you're leading 34-0, but if you can say one thing, it's been the special teams miscues so far here, and that got to clean that up as the season goes along.
Yeah, it has been the special teams, and I'll tell you what, one thing we haven't mentioned much lately is the center quarterback exchange. It seems like the young man has really dialed it in, got the nerves out, young freshman, and as we mentioned before, even if with those exchange issues, he's doing a phenomenal job in pass blocking, run blocking. His feet are coming along. But I think he just had a couple of jitters. He worked those out, and here we go. We're off and running.
So we found out where Blake Driscoll is watching us from YouTube. He's in Spencer, Iowa here this evening. So shout out to Spencer, Iowa, and thanks for watching to Blake Driscoll and everybody who's watching on YouTube here this evening. 11:02 to go here. Ball at the 35-yard line. That is where the Miners, are going to start things off here as they've got that inverted wishbone behind them. 3 backs behind the starting quarterback as Giboney takes the snap, hands it off, and running to the left side and not getting anything on that play. And it just looks like the Miners are doing everything they can to try to get a little something in the running game, but they've been unable to do so here. 2nd down and 10 at the 35-yard line upcoming.
So Blake Driscoll out there on the YouTube in the chat line was a member of our coaching staff, a member of the coaching staff last year. And I'll tell you what, if you want to jump on that chat line, Blake, and tell us, I think you had a really big event last year, a race with one of the athletes out here on the turf. You want to mention that in the chat line there, Coach Driscoll?
Yeah, if you're still watching, Driscoll, we'd like to hear that. As getting ready to go here, Jackson Giboney ready to go. 2nd down, hands it off, and again, just great pressure from the Bombers up front, and meeting them before they can even get to the line of scrimmage are the Miners, and that'll be down to about the 33-yard line, so a 2-yard loss on that play. 3rd down and 12 upcoming from the 33 as we're under 10 minutes to go here in the opening half, and what has been a very long football game here so far. That first quarter taking about 50 minutes to get into the books. 34-0 so far here for the Bombers as we're set up with another 3rd and long, 3rd and 12 upcoming for the Miners.
I tell you what, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention, well, on that play right there, we had Alex Brown, Hector Mamie. Seen a lot of good things out of the nose guard rotation of Kyler Cheatham and Talon Quisenberry. We mentioned J-Ron Petty earlier. It's a lot of wrestlers out there doing some good things tonight.
Certainly are, as we've got under 10 minutes to go here, and faking the handoff, running into a lineman, but that play is going to be blown dead, and another penalty before Jackson Gibney could get to the edge, but it's going to be another false start there in the early going. We got another message on our chat so far here this evening. Todd Moon, thank you so much for joining us. He says, glad to see Tony back calling the game. Great broadcast. So thank you so much for the kind words. And you got a fan out there.
That's a class of 92. Todd Moon and I used to play touch football in the grass out at Logan Elementary. Todd, great to hear from you, buddy.
3rd down and 17. The ball is at the 28-yard line. 9:12 to go here as 2 wide receivers to the right side, 1 to the left side for Gibney, and fakes the handoff, trying to get to the outside, runs into his own lineman, and this play was blown up right from the get-go, and the Miners just can't get anything going there as they tried a little bit of a play fake there. I don't know if that was a miscommunication or if that was just the pressure from the Bombers getting into the backfield, and Gibney had nowhere to go, so he ran into his own lineman.
I tell you what, this defense has traditionally been with a 4 hood in the 4 behind with 2 safeties. 1 will walk up either side. Either safety could walk up. This has gone and morphed into, and I don't know if just the situation that we're seeing tonight, that ball's caught there.
As the return on the play there, that is J-Ron Petty, and it looked like he slipped a little bit there. Turf Monster might have got him on that one as he tried to make a cut on that play. Unable to do so with 8:24 to go here in the opening quarter. As we've got more comments coming in here, big thank you to everybody. Joe Bellotti says keeping cool. That's good. Not a lot of people keeping cool if they're out here in the stands, but big crowd here in Macomb to start the season here on the early going. Coach Driscoll says the Turf Monster caught me, Coach Western. And he also says doesn't catch our Bombers. That's certainly some good news there.
That was poor timing, though, as J-Ron Petty got. And it was actually J-Ron that he was racing. Oh, that's crazy.
And we're getting news that the West Hancock stream on TSSR is in a rain delay, so they're going to try to keep you posted throughout the evening there. As the first play ran up near that 1st down line. That'll be about 2nd down and 6 as a gain of 4 on the play there for the Bombers.
It's like a gain of about 6 yards as it was J-Ron Petty, and that's not fair to call that one the Turf Monster. He went to make a move and tried to contort his body all the way back and lost his footing. But it is a little bit ironic that we're talking to Coach Driscoll about that moment, and he's the young man that's hitting the turf here. So maybe a little karma for you there, Coach.
We got a little timeout. We'll take a timeout with them back after this as you're watching TSSR Game Time Live, brought to you by MDH.
After my appointment that day, I just made up my mind that I'm going to have my baby here in Macomb and this hospital, because irrespective of where you're from, who you are, it's just their line of duty to make sure they give care, make you comfortable.
I told about the staff of MDH, they're all good. And you will get all the support you need. This is just the best place for you and your family.
Minimally invasive surgery offers a variety of benefits to the patient. We are now able to offer patients a variety of operations with small incisions rather than big open incisions. The surgeries that we can do now, minimally invasive, include bariatrics, hernia repair, colorectal surgeries, faster recovery, smaller incisions, faster time back to work.
And welcome back as Arnold Brothers Heating and Cooling bring you Bomber Sports on TSSR Game Time Live, brought to you by MDH. 7:54 to go, and a little bit of movement early out of the timeout. That's just kind of frustrating when you come out of the timeout and you got a penalty flag that comes in, but another penalty flag coming in, this one likely coming back as the Bombers looking at a 2nd and 4, and we'll see what the penalty call is here as the Bombers, they're stepping back, and it looks like it's going to be on them. Wyatt Reed, Tony Weston on the call here this evening as the Macomb Bombers leading the LVC Miners 34-0 here in the second quarter. It'll be 2nd down and 9 now, as we've got all sorts of folks watching in the comments. Zach Grover, class of 2011, watching here this evening. Thank you for watching, Zach. Get to more comments here as the night moves on, as that handoff, good play by the Miners, meeting him in the backfield. J-Ron Petty had nowhere to go. What a play there in the backfield by number 55. That is Dylan McMillan. He meets him, as well as some other Miners in the backfield. That'll be a big loss. It'll set up a big 3rd down for the Bombers.
So this is exactly what we didn't want to see. This is, we've had really nice things out of this young line throughout the night. Right now there's a little miscommunication. Earlier you mentioned you didn't want to see the penalty, but you really don't want to see three white jerseys in the backfield when there's also a penalty. So you get your head start, and you still got 3 guys coming back. So the line's got to nail down that communication.
So 3rd down and 14. The ball is at the 41-yard line, as faking the handout as Holthouse, and a little bit of miscommunication. Holthouse runs to the right side, back to the original line of scrimmage, and that is all at the 45-yard line. Under 7 minutes to go. That'll be the first time tonight that we'll see a stop from the Miners, as that was a great defensive series there for LVC. They're not giving up down 34-0.
No, they're playing hard. They're piercing that line, getting through, finding their angles, getting their wedge, and they're getting to the ball. This may be the hardest I've seen them fire off the line all night.
So for the first time this evening, we'll see the Bombers punting unit come out, and back to receive are a couple of Miners. That is number 88, Carter Sowers. And I'll try to get the other number here. That is number 27, and that is Bryson Ferguson back to receive. And a low skipper as the punt gets in, a low line drive kick. It's going to be returned at the 30 by Sowers. He spins, and he's going to be tripped up. A good play there in return coverage at the 35-yard line. Otherwise, Sowers had a lot of open field on the far side of the field. As more folks coming in on the comments, Brian Donovan watching from Macomb here. 2 things the punter reminds me of. Mike Wiggins, class of 1983, he says, despite the miscues, they have handled them great. And Dustin Thornton, the class of 2011, watching from Galesburg here this evening. Thank you to everybody for watching in. And you can get in on the comments as well here on YouTube. Love having you guys along here this evening. 6:05 to go here in the first half. 35-yard line is where the Miners will take over. 1st down and 10, 34-0, as the Bombers lead this one, and they're split out. Looks like Jackson Gibney takes the snap, steps back to pass, and he moves up in the pocket. He's going to scramble away. 35, he's to the 40, breaks a tackle. He's going to be up near the 41, maybe the 42-yard line, and probably the biggest play of the game that we've had so far for the Miners. A little 7-yard scramble by their starting quarterback, Jackson Gibney.
Yeah, he steps back. He had his eyes, and I tell you what, so there's when you're on the interior of that line, especially with the edge rushers we have, there's a technique there where you're just supposed to be shadowing on that inside. You can't break your lane. We break our lane, and he's able to knife through and pick up about 7.
So 2nd down and 3. The ball's at the 42-yard line as we are under 5.5 minutes to go here. 1 wide receiver split out to the right. 2 wide receivers now to the left. 2 backs behind the quarterback, Gibney, who's in the pistol. As he takes the snap, fakes the handoff, and a penalty flag comes out. This one's going to be blown dead as a little bit of movement once again. And more miscues for the Miners after getting your biggest play of the game there, 7 yards. You're going to have to go back 5 there because of the delay of game. Oh, they called offside, so my mistake. That'll be the first down of the ball game for the Miners. So scratch that. LVC will have their first down here in this game. Little miscue there by the Bombers defensively.
So we're starting to see some guys worked in. Some other guys are getting onto the field. We're starting to see that 3rd string starting to make their way out there, which is great, getting some experience, getting some reps early in a game.
So we got folks from both sides watching the YouTube stream here this evening. Joe Thumb getting in, saying, go LVC, work it and be safe. John Combs watching from O'Fallon, Missouri, go Bombers. And then John Combs, class 2005, in attendance here on YouTube this evening. So with 4:37 to go here, 1st and 10, ball at the 47-yard line. As Gibney ready to go, takes the snap, hands it off, moving to the right side is his running back, cuts back to the midfield and he's going to get just past midfield. What a great run there by Drake Ham, and that'll be second down and about 5 to come here. LVC just looks like they've been moving the ball really well here on this possession here. First time we've seen it all night.
Yeah, and I tell you what, that's one of those plays that I can tell you right now Coach Wilson's going to have cut up in the film room where we do a nice job of piercing the line. We shoot our gap, but we're not under control. We end up going past the heel line, past about 3 yards deep into the backfield, and the running back runs right past us.
Drake Ham on that run. He is a junior for the Miners, as under 4 minutes to go here as Giboney takes the snap, hands it off, and running it right back up the middle, and that is going to be a great defensive play there by the Bombers near midfield. Back to about the line of scrimmage, and that is it. So it'll be 3rd and medium here as the Bombers looking for a stop, as for the first time today, the Miners are on their side of midfield.
And that's downtown Harley Brown in there at nose guard now. He's in there, and he did a really nice job of standing up his O-lineman, which it makes that running back stop his feet and allows that linebacking core to go ahead and close on the ball just a little bit quicker.
I will say things here in the second quarter have moved a little bit quicker than they have in the first quarter that we had here this evening. Splitting out one wide receiver on each side. Giboney takes the snap, sweeps it to his left side as his running back gets to midfield. Now he's to the 45. He's going to be about a yard or two short. That is Bradley Ellis. And Ellis, a great run to the outside. It didn't look like he was going to get to the outside, but he was able to keep churning, and he makes it to about the 44. He's about a half a yard shy. This is go-for-it territory when you're down 34.
Plus, it's in positive territory. I think this is a great gamble. You're just, you're 6-7 yards past midfield. You absolutely go for it here.
2.5 minutes to go here in this first half, and now the Miners huddling up for this 4th down and 1 play. One wide receiver splitting out to the right side, one on his left, and he's still got 3 backs right there behind him. Giboney ready to go. In the pistol, Giboney takes the snap, drops the snap. Now he's going to take it on a draw play up the middle. Is he going to have it? It's going to depend on the spot, but it looks like from here he's going to have enough for the first down, and that is what the near side official is signaling. First down for the Miners as they look to run this 2-minute drill here. And they might be moving this one back here. One official says it's first down. The other one says he's about an inch shy, but the ball is spotted. It looks like for a first down, they might have to come out and do a measurement on this one. First down is the signal, and the Miners are going to keep this one moving at the 43-yard line. They'll spin the clock here, and we'll get under 2 minutes here. And like I said, that 2-minute drill, we'll see what the Miners can do on their first 2-minute drill of the season here.
Yeah, so we're going to see what they do here, how they're going to move the ball. Again, I think they need to stick to their game plan, and at this point they do it because they're preparing for week 2, to be honest. Let's see, looking out here, what do we have? We have a bunch of new numbers out there.
We'll get you some of those new numbers after this play. 3 wide receivers to the right side, 1 to the left side as Jackson Giboney takes the snap, and a low snap. Giboney picks it up, and there's nowhere he can go. And the Miners, just when you thought they had a little bit of momentum, they lose all of that momentum on that play. That's going to be a huge loss, gain of 11 possibly on that play. Back past midfield and now near the 44-yard line. That just hurts if you're LVC, and the clock comes up on 1 minute to go here in this first half. 34-0, the Bombers leading this one. Ian Case picking up the sack for the Bombers. And with 52 seconds to go here, second down and 22. Ball's at the 45-yard line. And you'll likely see LVC probably take one run and go into half here as Giboney in the pistol as he takes it, hands it off to his back, his fullback that is, as that is Dempsey Whitsett. He's going to get up near midfield, and that one is likely going to be the last play of this first half, as they're going to mark him a couple yards shy of midfield, my apologies, so down near the 48-yard line. Gain of about 2 on that play.
And I can tell you right out there on the near side outside linebacker, we see number 33, Brennan Thunderbolty is out there. And here right in front of us, the near side cornerback is number 30, Jaden Cooper, a sophomore. getting some reps in there, and we have moved on to halftime.
That's right. The horn has sounded. We are heading to the half, so we will have the halftime show, and we'll be back kind of recapping things in that first half. All Bombers so far. It is 34-0. Back after this as you're watching TSSR Game Time Live, brought to you by MDH.
I see acute injuries on the field. I see ankle sprains. I see ACL knee injuries, as well as in the clinic. It's very rewarding to see them from on-the-field injury to rehab to transition back to their event.
MDH Sport Medicine Rehab is just not for the athlete. We see a variety of ages, getting them from having pain to no pain to get back to their normal activities and their prior level of function.
And welcome back as Arnold Brothers Heating and Cooling present to you Bombers Sports on TSSR Game Time Live, brought to you by MDH. Speaking of MDH, we got a little interview with some folks from MDH, so we'll play that for you right now.
I enjoy working at MDH because it's a smaller hospital.
It's just a great environment to be in.
These people are amazing, and my boss is amazing. We help each other out. Makes the working environment more enjoyable compared to other places I've worked at.
It's not just like the people that I work with, but everyone in this hospital. They're all very friendly, very kind, very receptive to outsiders and new people.
You know, work is not just about the job, it's also about the people that work alongside you, and we have the best teamwork. They're like a second family, and sometimes you can't get that feeling other places.
I believe our departments here are very cohesive because we are a relatively small community. So not only do we know each other through our professional roles at McDonough District Hospital, but we very much see each other in the community as well. And so I think we have a strong respect for one another, our diversity in backgrounds, but yet all coming together for one common goal, and that's strong patient care.
Working in the emergency room is different from any other part of the hospital because I do a lot of hands-on patient care in a very high-paced, high-energy setting. You see anywhere from a stubbed toe all the way to really intense patients like cardiac arrest, so it's a huge learning environment. We never see the same thing twice, even if they come in with the same complaint. There's always an opportunity to learn, even with your stubbed toe patients.
In the emergency department, if you want to really use your nursing skills and your critical thinking at work, ER is definitely for a new grad. Working here just for the past couple months as an actual nurse, I've used a lot of my nursing skills I've learned in nursing school, and I've used a lot of my critical thinking skills. It just makes me feel good about myself, being able to help people that need help, that need to be taken care of. You get the opportunity to see so many different things that if you worked at a bigger hospital, you may not be able to see. So that's probably what I think is most unique. We have a lot of travelers that come here and they're like, oh my gosh, you guys get to do that? Or wow, you get to see that? And I'm just used to the, level 4 and 5 and the more what we would classify as the more simpler patients, not the more complex and in-depth patients. So I think that's what's the most interesting part.
Working in acute
I think my favorite part about being in staff development is being able to mentor and collaborate with all the staff, getting to know all the faces of all the staff.
And welcome back as Arnold Brothers Heating and Cooling present to you Bombers Sports on TSSR Game Time Live, brought to you by MDH, as we are here at Macomb High School for the season opener as the Macomb Bombers leading the LVC Miners 34-0 is the score at the half. As this Bomber broadcast is brought to you by Tom Conklin State Farm, face-to-face over the phone or by email or by text. You choose how you do business with Tom Conklin. State Farm Macomb. You can reach them at 309-837-1200 or visit them online at www.macombsf.com. Better yet, stop in and get your quote today at 1221 West Jackson Street in Macomb. Wyatt Reed and Tony Weston on the call here this evening as we are at the half call. And we are getting the lightning call. And they are going to call the remainder of this ball game. So at the half, 34-0 is our score, and that's going to do it. So let's, we were going to recap the first half of this ball game here, but now let's just recap
the game.
Our game here so far. Macomb Bombers obviously going to move to 1-0 here this evening, and I mean, things got off to such a great start for the Bombers. You could not ask for a better start. How about Kyler Norton starting off his first game of his high school career with a botched play, a broken play. He got wide open for a touchdown, and then with that being said, he, just moments later after that, ran in a blocked punt for a touchdown. Kyler Norton, I think without question, is our player of the game here for the Macomb Bombers.
Oh, yeah, I think that's an easy call. What a phenomenal night start to his career for the freshman. A lot of things that we saw tonight. We saw the mobility of Braden Holthouse. I mean, you know, you've got a lot of fear when you're transitioning from a guy like Jack Duncan, but boy, Braden Holthouse, number 11, had an impressive showing, and it's that dynamic nature of being able to make decisions with his legs. I love that the angles they looked different than what Jack Duncan is a downfield thrower. He loved to extend plays. He loved to bust the pocket, and he'd wave to his guys, go downfield. I'm going to chuck it downfield. Well, Braden's going underneath. He's hitting the now routes. He's hit a hitch over here. He hit the little play action pass to Ian Case, who Ian Case just decided he was going to run over a linebacker and take it 68 yards, I believe it was. We've still got some questions on the line that we need to have answered. There were some communication issues there, but I think that there were moments, and I said early on, there was a couple of moments in pass pro early in the game where it looked really impressive. The slide looked crisp, footwork was sound, the punches were compact, elbows tight, looked real nice for a bunch of young guys working together for the first time. But I loved pursuit of the ball, and Coach Wilson is huge on pursuit drill. They do it every single day, whether it's film day Monday, whether it's special teams Thursday. They're doing pursuit drill every single day. And I'll tell you what, guys, they're exiting the field right now. They're exiting the stadium area, and people are looking for some things to do. I tell you what, I know some people are going to head up to the sports corner, and I also know that on Friday nights, Diggers College City Bowl from 9:30 to 11:30, you've got the Rockin' Bowl with the lights out and the $10 per person. And that's all you can bowl in that 2 hours. Includes your shoe rental on a Friday night from 9:30 to 11:30. So you head there right now. You're gonna get that full 2 hours, $10. Get your shoes and all the bowling you can fit in. Come back on a Wednesday, $1. Between 9 and 11 for a game and shoe rental, $1 each. And then the Thursday special is 4 to 6, $5 per person, includes your shoe rental for bowling.
That's right, and many of our other great sponsors, which we'll get to a couple of them here shortly. We're going to take one final break here, and when we come back, we'll wrap things up from Macomb High School as you're watching TSSR Game Time Live, brought to you by MDH.
MTC Communications is building a high-speed fiber network in our community, and we're putting priority on the areas with the greatest interest. That means we need your input to let us know you want us to build fiber in your area first. Experience the speed and convenience of fiber internet by visiting our special website and registering. Let us know you want fiber internet today, and make your voice heard.
Well, I've always had an interest in the medical field, and then growing up, I actually went through physical therapy myself for an injury, and that got me back to playing my sports and the activities that I loved. So seeing that firsthand, I got to see how much physical therapy could really benefit others.
And welcome back as Arnold Brothers Heating and Cooling present Bomber Sports here on TSSR Game Time Live, brought to you by MDH. Wyatt Reed and Tony Weston wrapping things up here from Macomb High School. And if you're just now joining us, yes, we are at the half of our game. 34-0, the Macomb Bombers lead the LVC Miners. But because of lightning in the area, they decided to call this one at the half. So 34-0 is our final score here. And the Bombers are going to move to 1-0 on the season, while the Miners will fall to 0-1. So with that being said, we do have some other football going on TSSR. If you're wanting to check in on some other games from the comfort of your home here this evening, West Hancock, their game actually got delayed because of some lightning and some weather that moved into their area. Their game is about ready to get back underway in the second half. They're doing the halftime stuff. And then we've got football for you tomorrow as the BPC is on the road. They're at St. Anne. A nice long drive for our man Dewey sitting here in the studio. 2 p.m. start for that one tomorrow as BPC can be seen here on TSSR. So, Tony Weston, you've got some stats for us before we wrap things up. What do you got for us number-wise?
Yeah, I apologize. I'm looking through this roster here. I think it's a little incomplete for LVC. I want to give credit where it is, but I remember the name. I believe it was Whitside, as out of the running back position, had 5 carries for 12 yards. He started to get those wheels going a little bit later in the second half, and I tell you what, Jackson Gibney, probably not the night he wanted throwing the ball. He was 0 for 4. However, he had that really nice where he pulled that ball down and scampered for 7 here late in the second quarter. So, for the LVC, there were moments there that they're really going to build on. They had really nice moments, some big, strong guys on that offensive line. They stick with what they're doing with that triple back attack. And, they had moments there where there was, it's 2 yards, 3 yards, but they're getting by that initial push on the line, and And then Macomb's linebacking core is just a little too athletic, a little too speedy. They were able to close those down. But I think as LVC moves on in their schedule, those runs are going to go ahead and become fruitful. Coach, we got Coach Horrell walking into the building right now. You're safe here. I mean, the lightning is going. So, Coach Horrell is here in the booth. Week 1, there were a lot of questions coming into this game. You've gone through a lot, lost a huge senior class, lost a couple of impressive would-be seniors in Jaden Jones and JT Jeter, but a lot of athletes on the field tonight that really overwhelmed the opposition. Probably some things you'd like to see cleaned up this week, but why don't you give me your thoughts, Coach?
Yeah, I mean, a lot to clean up. It wasn't the cleanest game. A lot of guys with their first varsity football experience. So probably a lot of nerves at the beginning, just a lot of stuff to clean up. But we did see our playmakers make plays, and our line did really well at the beginning. Then we saw some things that we need to work on. But a lot of correctable errors, and I think just playing football is going to help out a lot. Yeah, we were commenting up here. It looked like the offensive line for such a young group that's really playing together for the first time. Saw some really nice footwork and some nice slides in pass pro early on. And then there was a little miscommunication there in the second quarter. But I tell you what, if we're going to talk about young people,
Have a day, Kyler Norton. I mean, my goodness, could he have scripted that any better?
Freshman scoring the first 2 touchdowns of the year. That's probably never happened.
Well, and I don't know if you noticed, but on the ensuing kickoff, he makes the play.
Hey,
I mean,
I didn't see that one.
He was there. He's all over the field tonight. So, and we also saw Drake May out there getting a lot of significant snaps, even before, we started to bring guys in. And of course, Charlie Bodiford's there as the captain of the O-line. So, these young freshmen have earned spots.
Yeah, I mean, we got 3 freshmen getting lots of minutes for us. So excited about that. Also kind of nervous about it, but I think they showed that they can play at this level, and we'll see a little more next week and going forward. But super excited about those guys. And another sophomore scored 2. I don't really know if we consider Drew a sophomore, but he is.
Sure. Well, I'll tell you what, 2 things that really stood out to us that I think probably stood out to you as well that were questions coming in. Number 1, your quarterback, Braden Holthouse, is just offering another dynamic to your offense. And not only the speed. He's got great legs. He's got a little wiggle to him where he's able to avoid some plays. But crisp reads, great decisions, and he's so heady. He made some really smart football plays tonight under duress. After him, I really wanted to see what was going to happen with the linebacking core after that's pretty much been turned over, and they did a great job responding to the football. What'd you see tonight?
Yeah, I mean, Braden, kind of what we expect a little bit out of him. He's got a good arm. He threw some nice passes out there, completed his first one, and then he scrambled, had a bad snap. He made something out of nothing.
Absolutely.
And then, I mean, he's even looking to lower his shoulder a little bit out there. So real excited about that, which we knew was physical. He's a DB, played DB last year. So real excited about him. And then who's the other one you're talking about?
The linebacking core.
The linebacker, yeah, that was a big question mark coming in. But they tackled pretty well. I thought in the second half, I don't know if we got a little tired, started summing some people, but some arm tackles that we need to clean up. But overall, they did.
Getting to the football, I mean, they were coming downhill, which really looked nice. And you mentioned the broken play, the first touchdown. How about a freshman having the presence of mind? Now, I want to see it on film. Was it presence of mind, or was he lost out there? Because it looked like he drifted out away from coverage as the play broke down. It looked like a smart football play.
Yeah, I'd like to say he was drifting back to the ball, but
yes.
I have no idea. I have no idea.
Well, Coach, I tell you what, that's a
love you too, Blake. Wish you were out here.
We were talking about his race with J-Ron Petty.
Oh, we
tonight.
might need to get that on the highlight reel and play that during one of our games. Yeah, we got to get that one.
Week after, we're talking about that. But no, it was just a great start to the season. Because you got the win, because the ball bounced your way, but also because there are things that you're going to be able to clean up, and that's actually something you want because it's something to focus on moving into a tough Knoxville team.
Yeah, I mean, we don't want to hit our peak week 1, and we saw a lot of things we need to correct, but all things that we think we can correct. I mean, obviously we got to see the film, but I think we're going up. We're going to have a real challenge next week, a solid program that's made the quarterfinals a few times. I think last time we played them, they probably had their best team and got hosed by COVID. So we're excited to match up against them next week.
Yeah, absolutely. And good. We're good? Is that? Or no, I tell you, Coach, if you got a minute here, Wyatt's got a couple things he'd like to talk to you about. Coach, great to see you. Congratulations on your win.
All right, I appreciate that there, Mr. Tony Weston. So getting the season obviously started off, you only got 9 games, in this short IHSA season. Getting that first win, that's got to be a really good feeling, especially in front of the home crowd there.
No, it's always good to get off with a win. We've been fortunate to do that 2 of the last 3 years, and it kind of sets the tone for the program, kind of gets the monkey off the back to start the year.
Well, like you said, you obviously don't want to peak too early there. Like you said, you've got a lot of things to clean up, and what better way to clean things up and then going into a very tough opponent? I mean, this has probably been a game that you guys have circled on your calendar. Were you guys really looking ahead, or were you just kind of, just this week working on LVC, or was there maybe some folks talking a little bit about maybe that next week's matchup with Knoxville?
Oh, I mean, we worried about ourselves mostly. It's all about us and getting better. All the focus game plan wise was on LVC and just improving ourselves. This week tomorrow we turn the page and get after Knoxville. But we're excited.
Excited to start the season off there 1-0. Like I said, in a very short season, that is very important there. And a lot of things to work on there, but we wish you the best of luck there, Coach, and we appreciate you taking some time and coming on up.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. A great conversation there with the head coach of the Macomb Bombers, and we'll get Tony Weston on there here in just a moment here, as we're about ready to wrap things up here this evening from Macomb High School. Great conversation with Coach as always. Here on TSSR Game Time Live, and Tony Weston is back with the headset here. And once again, if you're just now joining us, this game has been called at halftime due to lightning in the area. So this game is coming to an end. If you're still looking for football tonight, West Hancock, their game restarting here very shortly. But Tony, Coach said it perfectly. Starting off 1-0, can't complain about that whatsoever, but still got some things to work on. It wasn't the cleanest game of all, but he's certainly going to take that 1-0 and move on to Knoxville.
Yeah, I think it's the best of both worlds. And like we talked about, there are some questions that have answers. I don't think you answer anything definitively in week one. I don't think there's any conclusions to reach. However, we saw some really dynamic play from the quarterback position. We saw a couple of people toting the ball that have some burst, that have some explosion to them. We've seen good wide receivers that are able to catch the ball, tuck it, and run. We saw those linebackers closing on the ball, which is a great sign right out of the gate. We need to see how the line's going to develop. We need to get some of those issues cleaned up on special teams that we've talked about. But I think all things considered, we're looking the right direction, and we're really looking forward to a full week of practice and heading out to face a tough, hard-nosed Knoxville team.
Let's preview that game next week a little bit here. What are you expecting? Obviously, that I said it to Coach. Obviously, that's a game that the kids, circled on their calendar. They're never going to say that to Coach, but that's a game they circled on their calendar when the season schedule came out. What do you expect from this Bomber bunch when they take the field next week against Knoxville?
Well, I'll tell you what, it's going to be a physical game. It's going to be a much more physical game. That's the hallmark of Knoxville football, and what Coach was alluded to, their quarterfinal year, that was right here on the turf. We had Max Reiner, who you guys know from last year. He was a sophomore at the time. Our first play from scrimmage, he took it, I think, 68 yards for a touchdown. We're feeling good, and then, boy, they got physical in a hurry, and it was just a grudge match in between, in that 1 yard space on either side of the ball, and they owned that line of scrimmage, and they are tough, physical specimens at the point of attack. And we're going to have to be able to match that with our linemen. I think that all of the athleticism and the skill positions in the world isn't going to help if we can't match that physicality and that intensity. So a couple of things to beef up. Those young kids got experience. As we talked about earlier, the footwork's there, the slide protection's there. All those things are there, and those are actually harder to teach than it is to teach them to go out and be physical. So as long as they want it, which I think that they've shown that they want it, that they want to be out there, they want to be physical. So I think that's what we're going to look at with that Knoxville game.
And we got some more comments coming in here before we wrap things up. But it's Gregory. Thank you for watching here. Gregory getting in right before we head out here this evening. Thanks for watching, everybody, on YouTube here this evening. We certainly appreciate it. It's been an absolute blast. And once again, if you're just now joining us, final score here from Macomb High School, 34-0. This one called at the half due to lightning. More football coming up tomorrow. BPC takes on St. Anne at 2 o'clock, so tune in for that. And West Hancock's game still going on as we speak on TSSR Game Time Live. So make sure you check that out. For Tony Weston and our camera guy, John Keenan, doing our stats here this evening, and Dewey running everything here as the director this evening. We certainly appreciate all the help here at TSSR Game Time Live, brought to you by MDH.